Hi, everyone. Amy Sweezey here from Florida Weather Authority. Thank you so much for joining me today. Can we talk about the heat? We have another heat advisory in effect today, and we've had quite a few of them over the last couple of weeks in Central Florida. So, first of all, who is under the heat advisory today? It's all the counties that you see here shaded in the peach color. So, that's going to be Marion County, that's going to be Sumter, Lake, Flagler, Volusia, Seminole, Orange, and Brevard. And the reason the heat advisory was posted is because the heat index is going to be anywhere from 105 to 109. That's the feels like temperature when you take the actual air temperature in the mid 90s, upper 90s, and you factor in the humidity. So, the heat advisory that we're watching for today, it starts at noon. It goes until 7 p.m. And of course, we always give you those reminders to drink a lot of fluids. Water is best, maybe some Gatorade. Limit your outdoor activities. Try to stay inside in the AC or in the shade, especially during the hottest time of the day. Wear light and loose clothes, which is why I'm wearing my white t-shirt today instead of my black one. And be sure to check on your neighbors. Our own Dr. Rob Eicher tried to go out today, being a good dad, took his kids to the Winter Park Farmers Market. They had a special rock painting art activity, super fun. But then after a short amount of time, Rob's son said, "Dad, my body is melting." So didn't last long. They decided to be smart and they're going back inside, headed home to go in the pool. So that's a good place to be today if you can, in the shade and in the AC. Now, the heat risk. This is a map that was created by the National Weather Service. This came from the Melbourne office, which is in charge of the counties that you see here on the map. And notice there's some yellow, some orange, some red, and some purple. The yellow means a minor heat risk. The orange is a moderate risk. The red is a major risk. And then the purple in parts of Lake County, that's an extreme risk. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, level 2, the moderate risk, anywhere that's in the orange color. We're not going to talk about the yellow because that's a minor risk, but the moderate risk is really a moderate risk to anybody who's in a heat sensitive group. So that would be children, the elderly, anyone who works outside, if you're exposed to too much sun or you don't have AC. The red area, which is what a lot of Central Florida is, a lot of Volusia County, Seminole County, Orange, kind of all of our inland areas, not just right along the coast, which gets the benefit of that breeze coming in off the ocean. That's our major heat risk. And that's heat risk to anybody that is exposed to the sun, being active outside. Of course, it's all the people that are in the heat sensitive group if you don't have the proper hydration, cooling, or air conditioning. The fourth level, though, this level 4, this is only issued very rarely. And notice it's a very small location, but it is in some parts of inland Lake County. And that is where this extreme rare level of heat risk is in effect for everybody, not just the sensitives groups, but anybody who is outside. It is very dangerous if you don't have the proper hydration or cooling. And usually a 4 is issued when you're going to have excessive heat for multiple days. But the thing is, when it comes to heat risk, when it comes to heat advisories, when it comes to all of these warnings, watches, they all depend on where you live. They're very different. This is a graphic. This is the words I actually pulled directly from the National Weather Service because they are the ones who issue these heat alerts. And we do have extreme heat warnings. We have extreme heat watches. We have heat advisories. If you want to know the specifics of these, of course, you can Google the National Weather Service for their heat alerts, or you can just pause this video for 1 second and read all of the words that are on there because I'm not going to do that for you. But there are different levels that are issued for these heat advisories. For instance, in Alaska, when it's going to be warmer than 90 degrees, they have a heat advisory. Well, if we have 90 degrees in Florida, that's just another day, right? We're not worried about that at all. The other thing I want you to notice is the heat advisory for Central Florida and North. But notice South Florida and Tampa, the West Coast, the Gulf Coast, Southwest Florida down into Cape Coral and Marco Island, Fort Myers, Naples, not under a heat index today. It doesn't mean it's going to be cooler there. It means that the criteria is different. It has to be hotter. It has to be closer to 110 for the heat advisory to be posted in those locations. So I know it starts to get a little bit confusing when you say, but wait a minute, I live in Kissimmee. I live in Osceola County. Does that mean it's not going to be that hot today? No, it just means there's not an advisory for you because your heat index won't be 105 to 109, or it will be 105 to 109, but your heat advisory isn't triggered by those numbers. The heat advisory for Osceola and Polk County is when the heat index is hotter. So hopefully that makes sense. The reason we make a big deal out of this, I think the one thing that I hear a lot from Central Floridians and really people from all over the state this time of year is, yeah, we know it's hot, it's Florida, it happens every year. And that's true. I understand that. We do have our heat index numbers. This is kind of typical, but it's still a really good reminder because heat illness is real and heat exhaustion and heat stroke are real. So take a look here at this graphic and notice the difference between the things that you should look for in case you need to take action. Heat exhaustion, if you start feeling dizzy when you're outside. I've been out before in the heat of the day, working in the yard, pulling weeds, and I start just getting kind of lightheaded. That means you need to get inside and take a break. If you start getting extra thirsty, yeah, it's easy to be thirsty in Central Florida in the heat, but extra thirsty, heavy sweating, who really sweat more than you usually do. If you start feeling nauseated, like you're going to throw up or you're going to vomit, or if you get very weak, maybe kind of shaky in the hands and the legs, that means you need to take action. You need to move into a cooler area, either in the shade or certainly indoors if you can. Loosen up your clothes and remove those extra layers. Now, heat stroke, on the other hand, is even more intense. It's all the same symptoms of the heat exhaustion side, but now you start getting a little confused. You start getting even more than just dizzy, but like you start feeling like something's just off. Your head isn't quite right. Or possibly you even faint or are unconscious. So obviously, if it happens to you, you're not going to know. But if you're with someone who starts to pass out or is unconscious, you need to immediately call 911. Get them some cool water, cover them up with cool rags and ice. And maybe this seems extreme, but heat exhaustion, heat illness, it's the number one reason that people are going to the ER in the summertime in Florida. So please take precautions, be careful. Obviously, this time of year, we wait for the rain to keep us a little bit cooler. And I don't want to show you this graphic because that's actually an old one. However, what I do want to do is go over to this other graphic because this is going to show you the rain that we have today. We haven't had a whole lot of rain in the last few days, but now as we are heading through Saturday and Sunday, the moisture is increasing. So not only are the heat index numbers going up because of the extra humidity, but we are going to see extra rain today too. So early afternoon, we'll start to see some showers along the coast, and then they will start moving inland. So notice by 5 o'clock, we're just getting these isolated pockets of rain, a few downpours. Certainly some thunderstorms are possible as well. This is 7 o'clock tonight. This is 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And then once we get past sunset around 8:39, the sun goes down, we lose the heat of the day, and the rain starts to fall apart. Now, I'll fast forward this in time quickly to Sunday, even though we're really talking about Saturday, but I will show you this for Sunday. There you go. The rain a little bit more widespread when we get to Sunday. So this is 1 o'clock. There's the clock in the upper corner of your screen. So this is 1 o'clock Sunday. Things begin to bubble up. And then notice the coverage, just kind of all over the place. We're seeing these pockets, especially in Brevard County, southern Volusia, but even our inland areas around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Things start to wind down a little bit, but we are getting back to a more normal, typical pattern where we see more showers and storms. Now, one of the things that I talked about in my video yesterday was that there's a cold front that's going to be creeping a little bit closer to us. It's not coming through Florida. It is not going to cool us down. It does not do that this time of year, but it will start pushing some moisture southward through Georgia and into North Florida. So notice here on Sunday where you start seeing more activity showing up here on our Futurecast computer model. That's some of that moisture that's getting pushed our way late on Sunday. And then we'll see a higher coverage of rain as we get into next week as well. So those couple of drier days that we had last week because of Bertha, thanks to indirect impacts from Bertha, that's all gone now. This is Sunday night at 11 o'clock p.m. And notice that rain still coming down. So we could even have some late night showers as we get into Sunday and Monday. So that is, let me go back to this screen, your forecast from Florida Weather Authority. Of course, my name is Amy Sweezey, and I am joined by Tom Sorrells and Dr. Rob Eicher, and we just launched publicly our channel this week. If you haven't had a chance to go back and watch any of our past content, of course, we invite you to do that. Stay tuned. Make sure you've signed up for notifications, you've liked our videos, and of course, you've subscribed to the channel so that you can be sure to get all of our updates as we move through the weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Please stay cool, and I will see you next time.